Consumer Reports just surveyed 380,000 vehicle owners, and the results are ugly for some of the most popular SUVs on American roads right now. Vehicles that dealers are still pushing hard. Vehicles that look gorgeous on the showroom floor. Vehicles that salespeople will tell you are the best in class. But here's what those salespeople won't mention. Some of these SUVs are hemorrhaging value so fast that owners are dumping them barely 2 years into a 5-year loan. They're upside down on their financing, trapped between a monthly payment they can't escape and a trade-in value that makes them sick. We pulled data from Consumer Reports, Edmunds long-term tests, JD Power Quality Surveys, and NHTSA recall databases to build this list of 7 popular SUVs that real owners are walking away from in 2026. And the #1 entry on this list is a vehicle so many people trusted, so many people stretched their budgets for, that what's happening to those owners right now should change how you shop for your next SUV forever. Let's get into it. Number 7 is the Volkswagen Taos. This is the subcompact SUV that Volkswagen positioned as their affordable gateway into the brand, starting around $24,000, which sounds reasonable until you hear what owners are dealing with after 20,000 miles. Consumer Reports named the Taos the least reliable subcompact SUV for the 2nd year running, citing what they call major engine-related problems. The Taos runs a 1.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, making 158 horsepower. And that turbo setup is where the headaches begin. Owners report rough idle, hesitation during acceleration, and in some cases, complete power loss during highway merging, which is exactly as terrifying as it sounds. The 8-speed automatic transmission in the front-wheel drive models has drawn complaints about jerky, low-speed behavior that makes stop-and-go traffic feel like you're learning to drive stick for the first time. Now, to be fair, the Taos does offer a genuinely spacious interior for its size, with rear legroom that embarrasses some vehicles a class above it. The cabin punches above its price. But the mechanical problems wipe out that advantage, because when your engine is misfiring at 18,000 miles and your warranty claim takes 3 weeks to process, that extra legroom doesn't mean much. Here's the financial hit. The Taos depreciates faster than most of its competitors in the subcompact segment, and used Taos models are sitting on dealer lots for an average of 15 to 20 days longer than a comparably priced Honda HR-V or Toyota Corolla Cross. Mechanics who specialize in European brands will tell you that Volkswagen turbo 4-cylinder engines require precise maintenance intervals, and skipping even one oil change can accelerate wear on the turbocharger's oil seals. So you're looking at a vehicle that costs less to buy but potentially more to own than the Japanese alternatives, and that math is why owners are trading out. But if you think the Taos has problems, wait until you hear what's happening with a vehicle that costs 3 times as much. Number 6 is the Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xe. The plug-in hybrid version of Jeep's flagship midsize SUV starts at over $60,000, and Jeep marketed it as the best of both worlds. Real off-road capability with an electric driving range of about 25 miles for your daily commute. But Consumer Reports gave the Grand Cherokee 4xe a predicted reliability score of 1 out of 5, which is the lowest score they assign, and the recall list reads like a mechanic's nightmare. As of early 2026, the 2022 through 2026 model years of the Grand Cherokee 4xe have been recalled for a software error in the hybrid control processor that can cause a complete loss of drive power while you're driving. They've been recalled because debris inside the engine can cause engine failure and engine compartment fires. They've been recalled because the high-voltage battery software can malfunction, and owners were told to park outside, away from structures, and not to charge their vehicles until the recall repair was completed. The 2024 model year alone racked up 15 NHTSA recalls, and one Edmunds owner review describes a brand new Grand Cherokee Summit Reserve that was towed 3 times in its first year of ownership. Once when the vehicle stopped in an active intersection, once when it lost all power including throttle and brakes while driving, and once for a complete air suspension failure. That owner spent 65 days without the vehicle during those 3 repairs combined. Average annual repair costs for Grand Cherokee owners run about $650 per year, which is roughly $100 more than comparable midsize SUVs. And the severity of those repairs trends higher too, with serious issues appearing nearly 15% of the time. The financial argument for walking away is simple. You're paying $60,000 plus for a vehicle with a 1 out of 5 reliability prediction, and if the transmission or hybrid system fails outside warranty, you're looking at a repair bill that can easily exceed $8,000. Owners are doing the math and deciding that's a bet they can't afford to keep making, and the next vehicle on this list proves that spending less money doesn't protect you from spending more at the repair shop. Number 5 is the Chevrolet Equinox, and this one stings because the redesigned 2025 Equinox was supposed to be Chevrolet's comeback story in the compact SUV wars. They gave it sharp new styling, a cleaner interior, and a starting price around $28,800 that undercuts the Honda CR-V and Toyota RAV4. It sold almost 275,000 units in 2025, making it one of Chevy's best-selling vehicles. But Consumer Reports now predicts the 2026 Equinox will be much less reliable than the average new car, and that prediction comes with specific documented reasons. The Equinox runs a 1.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, making 175 horsepower, mated to either a continuously variable transmission, called a CVT, in front-wheel drive models or an 8-speed automatic in all-wheel drive versions. Getting stuck in first gear means the vehicle can't exceed roughly 25 to 30 miles per hour, while the engine screams at dangerously high RPMs. A separate Consumer Reports finding cited transmission control module failures and fluid leaks severe enough to require complete transmission removal on some vehicles. One Edmunds reviewer reported that their 2026 Equinox RS had been in and out of the dealership multiple times with fewer than 1,000 miles on the odometer due to persistent engine misfires. GM acknowledged the issue by releasing a service bulletin for engines built before March 2025, but the mechanics still couldn't resolve the misfires. Consumer Reports' own Jake Fisher has said publicly that the safest bet for reliability-conscious buyers is to avoid any newly redesigned vehicle in its first model year. But telling people to wait a year doesn't help the 275,000 buyers who already have one in their driveway, and those are the owners showing up at dealerships right now looking to trade. The next vehicle shares a corporate parent with the Equinox, and its problems run even deeper. Number 4 is the GMC Acadia. The Acadia received a full redesign for the 2024 model year, and GMC loaded it up with a turbocharged 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine, making 328 horsepower, a more spacious 3-row cabin, and pricing that starts around $38,000 and climbs past $55,000 in Denali trim. Consumer Reports stripped the Acadia of its recommended rating for 2026 after their annual survey revealed recurring problems with the transmission, brakes, electrical accessories, and in-car electronics. For the 2025 model year, Consumer Reports had already rated it much less reliable than average. The pattern goes further back. The 2019 through 2021 Acadia models were all rated less reliable as well. That's not a one-year fluke. That's a pattern stretching across multiple model generations, and that kind of consistency suggests deeper engineering priorities SUVs that don't align with long-term durability. The specific complaints from owners read like a checklist of things you don't want happening to a 3-row family SUV. Faulty thermostats trigger a steering assist reduced warning that makes the vehicle harder to steer, and that repair isn't cheap. Infotainment screens fail. Climate system leaks develop. One owner of a 2025 Acadia Denali reported that the vehicle spent 45 days at the dealership within the first 1,500 miles for a new master brake cylinder, new sensors, and a new brake fluid reservoir, and still came back with electronic glitches. And speaking of 3-row SUVs that should be better than they are, the next entry on this list comes from a brand that used to be synonymous with reliability. Number 3 is the Mazda CX-90. This is the one that catches people off guard, because Mazda spent years building a reputation as the driver's choice, the brand that cared about how cars felt on the road and backed it up with solid reliability numbers. The CX-5 had been one of the most reliable SUVs in Consumer Reports surveys for 11 straight years. Then, Mazda launched the CX-90 as their new 3-row flagship starting around $40,000, and things went sideways. Consumer Reports rates both the conventional and plug-in hybrid versions of the CX-90 below average or well below average for reliability, and Mazda as a brand dropped from the top 10 all the way down to 14th place in the overall brand rankings, largely because of the CX-90's problems. The recall list is extensive. The powertrain control module and engine control module software can cause warning lights and a complete loss of drive power. The inverter software in the PHEV version can cause power loss while in electric mode. The body control module can malfunction, disabling the defroster, seatbelt warning, 360-degree camera, and the PHEV's high-voltage battery cooling system all at once during startup. The financial picture compounds the frustration. The CX-90 loses about 42.9% of its value over 5 years according to IC Cars, which is better than the Genesis, but still significant on a vehicle that can reach $55,000 in higher trims. But the next vehicle on this list isn't trading on a former reputation, it's struggling with a current one. Number 2 is the Chevrolet Blazer EV. When Chevrolet launched the Blazer EV in 2024, it was supposed to prove that General Motors could build a mainstream electric SUV to compete with Tesla. The Blazer EV rides on GM's Ultium platform, starts around $36,000 for the base model, offers up to 324 miles of range, and won Motor Trend's SUV of the Year for 2024. On paper, everything checked out. Then Edmunds bought one for their long-term test fleet, and within 2 months and fewer than 2,000 miles, the vehicle had 23 separate fault codes. The infotainment screen entered an infinite loop of shutting off, turning on, displaying a map centered in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and shutting off again. Consumer Reports gave the Blazer EV a predicted reliability score of 1 out of 5 and named it the least reliable electric SUV in its class. The problems center on the EV battery system, climate controls, electrical accessories, in-car electronics, and persistent noises and leaks. The 2024 model has been recalled multiple times, including for a rear parking brake wiring harness that can corrode and either activate the parking brake while you're driving. Which brings us to the vehicle I told you about in the beginning, the one that should change how you shop forever. Number 1 is the Jeep Grand Cherokee, not the 4xe plug-in hybrid, which we already covered at number 5. The standard Grand Cherokee, the gas-powered, 2-row, bread-and-butter model that has been one of the most popular SUVs in America for over 30 years. Jeep has sold more than 5 million Grand Cherokees in the United States since the original debuted at the 1992 Detroit Auto Show, and for decades, this was the vehicle people bought when they wanted something tougher than a Toyota, but more refined than a Wrangler. It was the SUV you trusted. But the current generation, which launched for the 2022 model year, has turned that trust into a liability. The 2024 Grand Cherokee has been recalled 15 times by NHTSA, 15 separate safety recalls in a single model year. Those recalls cover rear-view cameras that go blank, head restraints that don't lock, and radiator crossmember bolts that aren't properly secured, which can lead to improper airbag deployment. The 2023 model year accumulated 22 recalls and 363 owner complaints. Even the improved 2026 model year scores only 56 out of 100 on the Reliability Index. Jeep as a brand ranks among the 5 lowest scoring brands in Consumer Reports' reliability survey, alongside Chrysler, GMC, Ram, and Rivian. Here's the part that should change how you shop. Domestic brands at the bottom of Consumer Reports' reliability rankings average a score of 41 out of 100, while Toyota, Subaru, Lexus, Honda, and Nissan score dramatically higher. That gap is enormous, and yet the Grand Cherokee still sells in huge numbers because of brand loyalty and how good it feels during a 15-minute test drive when nothing has gone wrong yet. A veteran service advisor will tell you the current generation's electronic complexity has outpaced its build quality, and that $650 to $700 average annual repair cost doesn't account for the 15% chance of a severe failure. The Grand Cherokee was redesigned for 2022. 4 model years later, it's still being recalled at rates that dwarf its competitors. That's not a growing pain, that's a pattern. And that pattern is why it's number 1 on this list. So, which of these 7 SUVs would you still consider buying, and why? Drop your answer in the comments, because the best conversations on this channel happen down there. If this kind of real ownership data is what you want more of, the subscribe button puts it in your feed every week. Thanks for watching.